Hello everyone, welcome back to Let's Learn English with Teacher Azzi.
Assalamualaikum and good day everyone. Our topic today is narrative essay. So, what is narrative essay? Well, basically narrative essay is when we write to tell the readers about personal experience. It can either be our own experience or somebody else's experience. It can also be either real or imaginary. Aside from telling the readers the events or the experience, we also want to tell them the importance of the events. Maybe you can include some moral values. Before you start writing, there are 4 main components of narrative essay. The first one is plot, characters, setting, and description. For plot, there are 3 main components. We have the beginning, the middle, and the end. What do we write in each part? Alright, let's look at them. For the beginning part, we are going to introduce and describe the people, which is the character. Okay, so the people, the time, as well as the place. For the people who are involved in your story, maybe yourself, maybe someone you know, your neighbor, or it can be imaginary, so maybe you can put a name, Jason, Mariana, up to you. Okay, for the place and time, place can be anywhere, up to you. You can just write in Penang, or maybe it happened in your school, depends on your story, whichever is logic. Okay, next about the time. We can put days, Sunday, Monday, or maybe date, 3rd of November 2011. Maybe something happened during that time or in that year. Alright, and you can also put last week, last Sunday. Next is the middle. What happened in the middle? Well, you have already told about the characters in the beginning. So in the middle, you tell what happened. You can put more development, you can tell how the story goes, it can include more actions, more events happening. Okay, you can also write about issues, problems the characters encountered. Alright, and you can also write it in several paragraphs. You can write in more than one, but you need to remember, for PT3 format, we can only write 100 to 120 to 130 at most. So you need to be careful with that. Okay, and then the end. Okay, for the end part of the plot, we are going to write how the issues resolve or how the story ends. You can end with a twist or you can end with a classic ending. In the ending part, you also tell readers, retell them the importance of the experience you had, or maybe the lesson you learned from your experience. Next important thing is POV. What is POV? Okay, POV is point of view. Who is writing the story? You are writing the story. Who is in the story? Is it you or somebody else? Okay, if you are the one in the story and you are telling that from your own point of view, you should use the first person POV, which is I. You can start your story with, last weekend, I went to Pulau Bangkok. I. Or you want to tell about someone else, the story of someone else. So you can use either he or she. That is the third person POV. Or if that is involved a lot of people, you can use they. Okay, so last weekend, Ahmad and his family. Or last weekend, he went. But of course, you need to tell the story, the character first. So use a name first. And then later on, you can use he or she. Depends on the person, whether it's female or male. You need to be consistent. Okay? If the POV is the third person, he, make sure you use he until the end. Don't use she. We don't change someone's gender middle story. Okay? Alright, let's move on to tips. These are the tips that you need to remember. Okay, so for narrative essay, it is always written in past tense. Remember that one first. Next is, you need to explain, you need to describe, you need to tell the story chronologically, which means by the time. Okay, if it happens on Monday and then the next day is Tuesday, Wednesday, you don't go from Wednesday, you don't start the story with Wednesday and then you go back to the Sunday the week before. Okay, we don't do that in narrative essay. You can use a dialogue to add more variety, but don't use too much. If it's too much dialogues, it's not going to be narrative essay. You can just simply write an interview instead. Next is use sensory details. What you can see, what you can hear, what you can smell in the story. Right, and the last one is use descriptive language. Use adjective, use adverbs, use verbs that is vivid, that people, when they read, they can imagine what is happening. They can experience the story through your own experience. Okay, so before you write an essay, you should not simply write it because it won't look neat. So the first thing is you need to draft your essay. You need to plan it first. You need to understand the topic, read the instruction and understand what it is about before you write. After you have understand the topic, you need to decide your characters as well as the setting. Remember time and place. Next, write an outline. How the story flows, what happened in the beginning, what happened in the middle and what happened at the end. Follow through. Okay? And then after you have your outline, only then you write your essay. It sounds easy, isn't it? Well, you need to try first. It is easy, but you must follow the steps. Okay, final step. Once you have done writing 120 to 130, you need to revise your essay, reread your essay. Don't just simply send it to the teacher or just simply let someone read it. Revise it first. Check if there are any mistakes, spelling or grammar. If you found those mistakes, correct them first, rectify them. You still have time. Okay, it's not going anywhere. So revise your essay, fix your errors, and then you are done with your essay. Well, that's the end of the lesson. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to comment down below, or well, for my students, you can just PM me. Good luck!